This one's for Dean. Yes. For Robin, it's been a struggle. Constantly gnawing at her, grief refuses to leave her alone. Invited itself to the funeral even when the rest of her friends and family couldn't attend and had to watch online. Abdul has been feeling lifeless in the living room ever since grief cold called him. No amount of shielding was able to protect him from this, and grief dragged all the words out of Tyrone's mouth, left his body numb, unable to operate, to feel, to move for 24 hours. The next day, Tyrone went back to working from home, and grief visits him in different guises, sends him the odd email he wasn't expecting, suggests itself on YouTube as a friend he might know on Facebook. It's part of Tyrone's life now, a part he's learned to accommodate, and sometimes grief isn't poetic. It just hurts. And it hurts, and it hurts, and whilst we're in lockdown, it feels like grief has nowhere else to go but stay with you. Grief doesn't observe social distancing, doesn't wash its hands. Sometimes grief just sucks. And we go on, because we have to. Uniting in memory over loved ones no longer with us, and Robin and her girls have traded beer gardens for webcams. £6 glasses of red have now become bottles from Tesco's. They drink and share stories of the past, have grown to accept virtual hugs over the real things, allow grief in on the call, but make sure it keeps his mic muted throughout. And Abdul keeps ordering takeaways and Amazon deliveries, and as the essential worker that it is, grief always keeps on delivering. And Abdul's coping. He's finding some comfort in retail therapy over the real thing, and Tyrone writes, knows grief only came to visit after a friend he hadn't seen for 2 years was taken from him, and was surprised at how intrusive grief was annoyed that grief took over his house until he saw grief invited over remembrance. And whilst trading tales over WhatsApp in lieu of drunken strolls down memory lane just don't quite hit right, they still do help us unite. And sometimes grief sucks. Whenever you lose someone, of course it will, so we take time to remember them. We need time to remember them. Time to let grief turn into love. Ensure that their memories live on. Ensure that we can leave memories for others that will be worth grieving over.